lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. नजरों से नजरें मिली तो जन्नत से महकी फिजाएं, लब ने लब छू लिया तो आसमां से बरसी दुआएं। ऐसे अपनी मोहब्बत, ऐसे रूह इबारत, हम पे महरबानो जहां। शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। Thank you God for the love I have. तेरी बाहों में जिस्म खिल गया, तेरी सांसों में चैन मिल गया। कैसे रहे अब हम जुदा, ओहो तेरे पास हम इतने हुए, तेरे काबू अपने हुए। ऐसे रहे अब हम फिदा, ऐसे उसकी इनायत मिट गई हर शिकायत। हम पे महरबानो जहां। शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। शुक्रान अल्लाह, ओ अल्लाह, शुक्रान अल्लाह। तेरे साये मिली हर खुशी, तेरी मर्जी मेरी जिंदगी। ये चल तो चाहे जहां, मेरी आंखों में नजर तेरे है, मेरे शाम सहर तेरे है। तू जो नहीं तो मैं कहा, खिल गई मेरी किस्मत पाके तेरी ही चाहत। हम पे महरबानो जहां। शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लहा ला वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन ला वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. UNC for Wale. PNM must go. Tell them go. PNM must go. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change.
Politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics. Listen, douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yeah. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics. douglAR politics. This is douglAR politics, yo. douglAR politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is full of greatness. We start when we see our hockey ace, Quan Brown. This is how brilliant Trinbagonians are. Let me read this with pride for you. Former national hockey player Quan Brown, who is like the Russell Latapy, the Dwight York combination of hockey. Quan Brown has been appointed men's head coach of Southgate Hockey Club. The club, based in Trent Park near Oakwood in London, competes in the Men's England Hockey League. Do you know how good, how solid you had to be? Your knowledge, your brain, your brilliance, your performance, your track record, your experience to come from a little twin island of Trinidad and Tobago and to get a big walk like that in England. Well done, Quan Brown. I see there's a new president of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, a lady who's been involved in sport for a long time, Miss Diane Henderson, who takes part in long distance running and all the events that require stamina, brilliant. She's passionate. But she said that she's going to continue some of her predecessors' initiatives. I would like to tell you, Diane Henderson, stop. Don't do that. Create your own initiatives. Create your own pathway. Your predecessor, Brian Lewis, was totally dishonest, was a man who was unable, you could put him up, Archie. Brian Lewis was unable to be truthful, to be impartial, to be independent. I told him way back in 2012 he is a closet PNM, and it was only last year that we learned in 2020 when he screened for a PNM seat. He was unable to give praise and encourage those who were doing a good job, increasing funding and investment for sport because of his myopic, selfish political aspirations. He then put sport into a tailspin by supporting the PNM. Any observer who's independent or reasonable would see that when I was in charge of sport and would go to the cabinet and argue on behalf of sportsmen, women, girls, Paralympians, Special Olympians, Olympic Committee, and increase funding from the paltry 10 million a year for the NPI vote up to 140 million, plus their investment in spaces, in clean spaces, clear spaces, recreational grounds, improving national centers, impacting on policy development, coach and science. This man was so political, he could not even say on one occasion, "Hey, Minister, well done, boy. Thanks, boy." No, because he was a disgusting PNM. So, Madam President, you are brand new. Forget this. The only thing grow in sport under him is he flipping afro. So don't come and tell me that you're going to do anything or continue anything of this. Please, you are clean, fresh. I know you. Your heart is there. You love children. You love athletes. You have a general understanding of what is required to create a field of dreams that could come to reality for our athletes. So please forget this Balize juice sucking one, okay? Bye. Start packing. Who is to start packing? Trinidad and Tobago Football Association stakeholders tell the Normalization Committee, the billionaire Haddad who draws a pay for himself, who take money to pay himself for however long he and his other PNM cohorts, NFF, National Flour Mills man, who making we pay extra for wheat and them making a loss. They come now. The stakeholders say, listen, we go take a 60 cents on the dollar to pay the creditors. All you pay the money and get out, get lost, because it has been the darkest day in the history of Trinidad and Tobago football. The most embarrassing, where we got knocked out of World Cup, our senior men's football team, by the Bahamas, ranked 201st out of 207 countries. Them draw with we could not beat Puerto Rico. We draw with Puerto Rico. Them just play baseball and basketball, and our flag flew upside down for the entire game as a clown from England who could not get work in England had to come down here to Trinidad and play. He is some big Sawati talking with a British accent. The biggest dunce to ever coach in Trinidad and Tobago football history, Terry Fennick, promoted by this billionaire Haddad because he liked the pink color. And now y'all want to continue? Pay the people the money and get out. Good riddance. Good riddance to bad rubbish, Haddad. Waste of time. You drag the flag. You're a good businessman. Go back and do your business, man. Go and make profit. Everybody can't be skillful in everything. You are a great businessman. God bless you. Go and run your business. Leave the people football, because football is for the people, for the country, for the red, white, and black. And you are total disgrace in football. As I say, total disgrace. I swear Keith Rowley must have come up with a cure for cancer. The way the mass media were portrayed. The man went to a golf, whatever it is, golf. He went down and CDA down in Amshagaramas, so a golf clinic, to start some golf clinics for children. Every newspaper, front page, back page, in between, I say some great celebration of brilliance and investment and something. We win Olympic gold. No, it was just this big flipping clown, Gallarine himself, pretending he liked children. This same man who hugging up children, they now pretending that he like young people after taking the laptop, cutting the sport funding, cutting the culture, cutting UTT, cutting Custard, cutting all the education, not building a school, not giving laptops, taking away 160,000 laptops, and now he posing like he's some superstar, but it's golf. That's our prime minister. He ain't go and pose with no footballer, no cricketers, no junior swimmers. He only went water polo because his nephew or some family members play water polo, and he liked golf because he does go on the golf course. So after that, he could have gone and play around. And the newspapers printing this pathological liar, this man who's the most disgusting human being to ever hold the office of Prime Minister. This man who caused the collapse of the Police Service Commission. Now crime is rampant and everybody, we go deal with that just now. But it was because of this man. This man who attacked in the most vile way a former Prime Minister and say he put spirit lash on him. This man who lies on people with impunity. This man, the most disrespectful clown in the history of politics. All your media come, don't take my word for it, you know. Look at media picture, look at this on the inside, the outside, all of them. It was like some big celebration. Oh, Rowley went in and talked to children in a golf clinic. Really? While children beating each other to death all across Trinidad and Tobago, video after video of school violence rampant like never before. But what, let me also hear Rowley's speech now. Rowley said he was in the middle of reading Keeping Sharp, Build a Better Brain at Any Age by CNN medical expert Dr. Sanjay Gupta. It's very funny that at his age, and he's the Prime Minister, and nothing working or functioning in the country, children under his care being battered, raped, killed, murdered, beaten, stolen, ravaged in the homes under his care, and his minister in the office of the prime minister, he had time to read a book. Now don't get me wrong, reading is very important. But I would think if your entire country is collapsing and falling apart, you would put the reading on hold and do some work. But listen to what this man is reading. So he said he's in the middle of reading, Keeping Sharp. Build a better brain at any age. Well, that can't help you because your brain shut down still since 1969. The kind of dotishness that you are doing, the kind of heartlessness, the lack of creativity and care, no reading Gupta book could help you. He said, I discovered that your brain can be stimulated for all of your life. And he, Gupta, gave a dozen recommendations for stimulation of the brain. You now realize, by reading Gupta book, that your brain could be stimulated throughout your life. But when they went talk, they went to try, he and the minister, man, well, I didn't know that leaks break pressure. And without pressure, water will not be able to go up to the higher areas. These two pee in a pod, two duns in a pod. The prime minister said, sport would contribute to the development of that mental stimulation. And you may be developing the best brain in our nation. And that is sufficient reason to take up sport. Really? Prime Minister Rowley? Sport is so important. It develops the brain. Doesn't it also develop time management, mental skills, concentration? Physically, when you are more physically fit, you can concentrate better for longer periods, and therefore you can soak in more information. Does it also teach you discipline? Does it also teach you punctuality? Does it also help you break barriers and set goals, short, middle, dream goals? Are you now learning all of these things in sport? But how is it, Prime Minister Rowley, that you chose this to be the Minister of Sport then? You see, because all of this talk to the children, but then you put this as the Minister of Sport. A lady who knows nothing about sport, just like your Minister of Wasa knows nothing about water. But this lady knows nothing, does nothing, qualified in no way, form, or fashion. But you put her there, and then you cut her budget by 90%. So not only does she not know that she does not know, and she does not know that you don't know, and you put her there because she does not know, that you also cut all the funding to this sport that can generate and stimulate our minds, as you say, to the children playing golf, while other children are carrying knife and stabbing and killing and beating all over the country. You cut funding for sport, but come to make a wishy-washy speech on a golf course with a golf club. Why they didn't take the golf club and put it where the sun don't shine? Really and truly, because the hypocrisy is getting beyond. He then continued.
1 minute in the budget.
Yes, 1 minute and 29 seconds, thank you Archie, in the national budget. The Dwayne talk for 3 hours and 28 minutes. 1 minute and 28 seconds of sport, which said nothing. Sport is at its lowest ebb. Our athletes went out to the Tokyo Olympics to get blade and licks, unprepared, unvaccinated. The Minister of Sport under you said that our athletes weren't to be given any preferential treatment. No investment, no camps, no coaching. Football getting knocked out by Bahamas. We getting licks all around. Our netball girls are ranked 9th in the world, where we were world champions once before. Track and field, 23 gold, 23 medals, 11 gold, while Jamaica get 97. We getting licks in everything across the board. All of the facilities are dilapidated and not managed. No sport tourism policy. You're now going out to look for it and ask for it. You come to now tell us that at your old age, you realize sport, they stimulate brain. Well, it didn't stimulate yours. You love golf, but golf don't love you. You suck. Your swing is the worst. You going to teach children how to not play golf good? You really getting confused? You imagine them children watching at your putting style with your head moving, your foot wiggling, your back wobbling. You are a total goat. The game don't like you. What about in your golf charity competition when you kick your ball on the 15 green? Tell them about that. Yeah. Oh, you didn't tell them about that. That golf is really a game that teaches you integrity, morality, and self-regulation. That golf, if you are dressing your ball and it moves, you have to penalize yourself. But you were caught on the 15th green in a charity golf tournament put on by the office of the Prime Minister kicking your ball. I dare you to tell me you didn't. You carpetbagger. And while you're down there in the CDA, let me ask you this, leave up that picture there. Keith Christopher Rowley, while you were in Chagaramas, and you know you gave so much millions because you like to play golf down there in your constituency, even though that's not even a golf course, that's a half a course, right? 9-hole is not a golf course. Yet you give millions of dollars to keep that upgrade because you like golf, right? But you don't like nothing else. Can I ask you this, Keith Christopher Rowley? Is there a CDA board? Has the CDA board been fired? If the CDA board has been fired, why has the CDA board, the entire board, been fired? Keith Christopher Rowley, Camille Ballhead, Robinson Regis. Please let the population know. I am asking you all tonight, is there a CDA board in place? Because many people need their leases renewed and so on down there, and CDA board is very important for business, for development, for the Yachting Association, for diversification, for approvals of that entire Western Peninsula. Is there a CDA board in place now? Was the entire board fired? Keith Christopher, disgusting, pathological liar, Rowley. Yes, Brother B, I detest the man. The man is not a man. The man is a mouse. Is there a CDA board? Were they fired? If so, why were they fired? Members of the media, Mark Bassant, I see you wake up to do a spyware. Mark Bassant, what about the Integrity Commission? What about Inez Gate? What about Rowley House negotiating as a real estate agent? What about his lack of putting and telling, notifying the Integrity Commission about 468,000 benefit from a contractor in a house, and the house that he get for his daughter to 500,000 cheaper? You ain't want to investigate that? What about the Bridgemans? What about Rowley going up quite up in the USA to try and continue to push business relations with Maduro? What about Paria Divers? Where the Commission of Inquiry? What they were doing in that pipe? How many barrels of fuel were really purchased from Wilma Ruperti, Maduro during the sanctions to try to get around sanctions? How many in April 2020, 1.2 million barrels? How many were intended to be purchased and sent to Palo Alto, Venezuela through Pointe-a-Pierre, through Paria, through Newman George, through Rowley, while the US and the world was sanctioning Maduro, the dictator and narco-trafficker? Bankbasan, you don't want to do that? You don't want to investigate the HDC contract scandal, how it reached the cabinet when Rowley was the Minister of Housing? You ain't want to investigate Delcy Gate? You ain't want to investigate Foster Cummings Tree Gate? Yeah, what that? You want to do some spy way to try and make Rowley look like he didn't lie, but he really lied, and you can't help him? Mark Bassant, you ain't realize the people ain't take you on again. Right. Rowley, while you talking to a few children down in your constituency, let me show you what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago, that you are the Prime Minister and you seek the interests of Trinidad and Tobago. Rodney Charles, stop asking me about Guyana and Mia Amor Motley. I am the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for 7 years. Look at what you have done to our country. 2 weeks ago, we showed you a myriad, about 8, 9 different fights of all types in the first day and a half of school opening after COVID-19 pandemic, the longest shutdown in the globe of schools, face-to-face schools. But there was one video, and Raul, you watch this because you are the Prime Minister, and on top of a 307-page report of total abuse, murder, carnage, rape, battery, beating, verbal, physical abuse in government, state-run, state-sponsored government homes for children. On top of all of that, look what you have going on, and you've done nothing. You said nothing. You gone in a golf course to talk niceties that you are now learning that your brain could be stimulated. The horny goat weed didn't stimulate your brain. Look at what is going on in the country that you say you in control of. Run it, Archie.
Come on. If one shot man, you go kill him. We just start with him.
Come.
What the fuck?
Well, I am receiving reports that that young child on the ground who was bullied by a set of cowards. You in the light blue jersey, you big nasty coward. A boy is down, laying, defenseless, and you take a 6-meter run and jump and double stamp him on the back of his neck, and you think that makes you a bad man? You disgusting little coward. You mama pool clown. The boy is now, I am hearing reports, the boy was paralyzed and he's now dead. The boy was paralyzed and he is now dead. Killed by clowns who not even in school uniform. They're so indisciplined and disrespectful and disgusting. And to the parents of those clowns, great job. Go and have more sex. Go make more children. That's what you make children to do. Kill other people's children. And this fool prime minister you all have gone down in a golf club to tell children sport could stimulate your brain. Donna Cox said 9,000 cards purged from the food support program. So the PNM boasts about purging food from you, the citizens. So under Glenn Ramadan Singh, Minister of the People, and Barrington Skippy Thomas and the United National Congress and People Partnership, the number of food cards went up from 18,000 under Patrick Manning to 42,000 with direct impact. The poverty rate would have shown that at least at that time, 16.7% of the population, it was up at 19%, but Kamala got it down to 16.7%, which is about 165,000 people were below the poverty line. That meant that there was need for that amount of cards, food support, to keep the population healthy so that we could get the nutrition into our young ones, at least to keep them going so that they could study and make a run at a better life, qualification, skills, tech, work, school, sport, across the board. Rowley came in and cut that from 42,000 down to 28,000. And then during the pandemic, from 28,000 down to 20,000. And now, Donna Cox says, approximately 9,000 people have been removed from the state's food support program since a review began in January. So a review began in January. All recipients could not receive food for January, February, March, April, May. And now Donna Cox comes to boast, just calling out numbers. 9,000 people for various reasons. Really? What's the real numbers? 123,000 people during the pandemic lost jobs. They came off the NIB rolls. Over 200,000 illegal immigrants here. The poverty rate now stands at above 30%. 30% of adults is over 300,000 people are below the poverty line. And yet you're boasting that you're now what, 12,000 food cards? Then you're 288,000 food cards short. But you're not short in recusals. You're not short in rent for Al-Rawi. You're not short in contracts for man, wife, who in the cabinet. You're not short for that. You're short for food for people. Anybody who votes for the PNM is not making sense unless you are really a beneficiary, a senator, a member of parliament, a chairman of a corporation, a councillor, or somebody getting a contract. Other than that, no one with any sort of brain should vote for the PNM, because this is what the PNM is. In but 247,999 private property tax valuation forms received. So they come in with property tax on you. Nothing works. All the money, even the fuel subsidy, you say, why spend it on all of Aulia, 1.4 million of Aulia, plus the 200,000 illegal migrants? Why spend it on y'all when we, Colmimbert and us, we could have it here to spend it how we want? We could go and spend it on the mosquito crack. We could go and spend it in Valencia for a highway to nowhere, a highway to the bush with the biggest roundabout going straight into 2 Manikou and a tattoo. They don't want to spend it on you, but they come in to tax you more on top of that. And who's going to pay for that tax? Do you think that business owners, people who, property owners, that they're going to just take their bonds, or they're going to pass it on to the middle and lower class? Exactly. The PNM has no ideas to increase revenue, to create revenue streams, to increase tax take, but they come in. They cannot create jobs, they cannot increase growth, they cannot diversify, they cannot create foreign exchange, they cannot attract foreign direct investment, they cannot produce goods. They've done nothing. They've turned us into pure buy and sell, and then come and cost us for being buy and sell. And then they come in to tax what little you have. When the road bad and you're busting tire, your car, taxi man on the radio, U97.5 FM yesterday tell me that his cost of running his taxi have gone up by thousands and thousands of dollars each year because of the poor state of the roads, the lack of maintenance. But do you know what's even worse? The Ministry of Finance went to a Montessori school that I know of. Whoever they sent out there with their iPads to take pictures, there were children, little babies, between 2 and 5 years old, in the schoolyard, playing and so on. And they are taking pictures of the property in which the school is without permission from the principal, the teachers, the owner of the property, and the parents. Do you know it is illegal to take pictures of children like that? The Ministry of Finance is doing that. That's how clueless this PNM is. Trinidad and Tobago, aren't we proud? Rowley and them say, small pin who never represent this country at nothing. The only way all you know small pin is he sit down on an off inquiry that Rowley create and concoct and make hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in brief, and then he represent Rowley in email gate. He represent the biggest parliamentary liar in the Commonwealth, lie for the liar and become the liar kickback man, the cool man, the man in everything, the man in every relax back, kick back, flow back, anything in the back is small pin and Rowley, right? Okay. He says that we, people like me, unpatriotic, because we criticize what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago in order to get improvement in our country that we believe in. Well, let me read something for you all, and let me ask the PNM if they're proud. Jamaican company buys TNT's AS Bryden. Publicly listed Jamaican manufacturer and distributor Ciprod yesterday announced that it has reached an agreement to acquire AS Bryden and Sons Holdings, one of Trinidad and Tobago's leading privately owned consumer products distributors. Once you're all proud, one of Trinidad and Tobago's best. Sold to Jamaica's best. Jamaica not only beating we in everything across the board, but now in business too. You all may not understand what I'm saying, you know. So our Trinidad best could not buy it. If they had to sell or if they wanted to sell, I don't know what the chairman and the board and the shareholders, what was their position on the decision making. But one, isn't it ironic that a Trinidad and Tobago company or corporation couldn't buy it? Isn't it sad that one of our best had to sell out? Why? You all ever stop to think why? And we love Jamaica, yes. But I'm a proud Trinbagonian. And if the best of Trinidad and Tobago is falling by the wayside, only to be propped up by others, then something is dramatically wrong in Trinidad and Tobago, not so? 10-story Grand Savannah coming. New development for Queen's Park West. Heeding the call for the revitalization of Port of Spain, 2 local investors have begun construction of a commercial property at Queen's Park West. With the blessings of both Minister of Housing and Urban Development, PNM Camille Robinson, Ballhead Regis, run with cash and fill out form, no police investigation complete yet. And Port of Spain Mayor Joel tell poor people to don't sleep on the street and go home when they're living on the road. Joel PNM Martinez elitist come to boast and support the beautification, the elevation on the foothills of Laventille of high-rise, expensive buildings. People of Laventille, they had Calypso song about it. The PNM mama guy all there and all you vote for Fitzgerald Hines, even though you know he's a worthless nastiness who gone in Maraval, a man who's disgusting, a disrespectful man, a racist individual who has no ability to plan, to care about anybody other than himself. But PNM tell you if you're black, vote for that. Let me ask you all something in Laventille. You feel any of you all will be able to purchase these high-rise, expensive condominiums coming on your doorstep? And then now, Laventille, remember they come in by Piccadilly, they're going to clear out your business. UDCOT was doing that since 2016, 2017, and they mashing grass, and the black man, Keith Scotland, who can't get to be an attorney general, coming to tell all you, yes, go with the PNM black man to move all you out, so that they will beautify and elevate and put up high-rise expense. All you will have money to buy it. You think you're coming back there? What's the most, let me ask the people of Laventille, because you all ain't going to vote for me care. Not everything is about vote. But let me ask my people of Laventille, in the Caribbean, what is the most expensive, valuable real estate left in the entire Caribbean? With vistas and beautiful views of not only the city, but across to Venezuela, down to the southern coast, the sea, the plains, the best views in the Caribbean. What real estate is that? The hills of Laventille. How long have certain people been looking at the hills of Laventille? Are these certain people controlling the PNM? Are these certain people and businesses and groups of investors and financiers the number one man in the history where they have benefited the most in every single aspect of life in Trinidad and Tobago? Keith Christopher Rowley, the ones who brought down Manning and uplifted Rowley, that despicable human being. But he had the wherewithal and the support of big businesses whose eyes have been on Laventille. You know that better than me. Well, they come in, so while you see the PNM surrounding these investors, giving them quick approvals and so on to move, what does that mean? They're encroaching, they come in, the value going up. When the value go up, you can't afford to stay there, they go move all you out. I think I told all you that, you know, but Archie, run it for me.
I hold in my hand here a document dated 23rd March 2018 from the HDC to a company, ACQ and Associates. And this is the letter of acceptance for the provision of acquisition services for lands located at Piccadilly Street, Porter, Spain, regeneration project since March 2018. The work has been done. The details have been paid. $1.4 million paid. And yesterday we hear that the government is coming to consult independently with the population. When Piccadilly done gone, it's a fait accompli. They have already worked out in this document. But here it is. The politicians are telling us they are coming to consult about Piccadilly. And I have a document here from the political arm of a special purpose company that Piccadilly in Laventille has just been sold out. And on top of that, the document says that the people who are living there, 100 people, very detailed, some businesses, some apartments, some houses, that they will not receive fair value to move out and go anywhere else. So once the government acquires Laventille, starting at Piccadilly, we move to the Calypso, written by the Diamond, their eyes on the hill. And I say today, Laventille has done a crux. The senator attacked and told me that I have no right to speak on behalf of Laventille because Laventille is PNM. Well, Laventille, PNM is coming for your land and it has gone. They have already signed the contract and they're coming to take it and purchase it and acquire your land. And I asked the government, if the Public Service and the Public Service Commission was in charge, there would have been fair value. Why was this not consulted upon? Why are they going to acquire people land, put them out, knowing full well that they could never return because the price of the private sector dwellings and the point of view will never bring them back, and the people of Laventille will lose their property.
Time is up, Senator Roberts.
Let me tell you something, and let me remind all of you, because I'm sure all of you know, that what facilitated, encouraged, and manifested and accelerated the success and the economic success for the plantation and slave owners and the Europeans who propagated the transatlantic slave was that black people on the African continent, black African leaders who had conquered other villages and tribes were ready to sell their black brothers to the incoming white slave masters. That was one of the reasons why the trade in brilliant, hard-working, strong black African slaves was able to last so long. So when people come to tell you, I can't show you any cabinet notes, I can't show you any policies that assist you, I can't show you any opportunities for your children, I can't show you education and gate and laptops and sport and culture so that your children can uplift themselves and fulfill their potential. I can't show you anything that I have done for you. But I look like you. I am black like you. And you must vote for me because I say I am black. Never mind that I put people who don't look like you in charge. And never mind that the black benchers get no recusals. Just believe my words that come out of my mouth that I am black. My deeds and my action shows that I'm not black. I'm not proud to be black. The most important and powerful people in my cabinet are not black. They are Colmimbat, Stuart Smallpin Young, Faris Al-Rawi, Convent Girl, Rohan Sinanan. Come down the line. But let me tell you, people of Trinidad and Tobago, Laventille, I told you then, and they come in, they're encroaching, and they're saying to you that we are black and we represent you. Put your faith in us. Didn't you put your faith and vote, even though you wet down Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines with tutu water? Didn't you still go and dip your finger when a young black man called Kareem Baird was begging and asking for your vote? You turned away from Kareem Baird, his intelligence, his passion, his desire to uplift his community, and you went with the same tried and tested, abject, total failure called Fitzgerald Ethelbert Duncy Head Pomsite Rasta Hines. And what did they reward you with in the beatdown? Smelling, living in tutu water for 8 months when it could have been fixed in 7 days. But they were black, eh? So the people in charge who make you smell tutu water for 8 months extra, they were black. So the tutu water what? Didn't smell stink? It didn't present any health hazard. It was okay because a black man with a black face suffered you. I think the race argument is an ignorant one. I think it's a ridiculous one. I think it's really nonsensical, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, where all are we is one. Where all are we party, lime, live, take care of each other as one. So end the race talk. Vote on sense. Lavanti. They come in. What you going to do? Wait till it gone? Wait till the hill's gone? Wait till you are out and you see high-rise, multi-million-dollar condominiums all over Lavanti, looking across the Gulf of Paria, and you say, but my mother was living there. My grandmother was living there. I down here on the flat. But look where I was. That's when you're going to get serious, Lavanti. What you want me to say? I know you ain't going to vote for you and say how much. My yellow, I come down there, I will get 3 votes. How much? 3? And Fitzgerald Ethelbert, sleepy, dunce, incompetent, racist Hines go get 10,000. You feel I stupid? I study the politics. But when I in government, when the UNC in government, when I am an MP, I treat everybody with love and respect. I don't have nothing. You are an MP for the red, white, and black. You must treat everyone. You must see everyone. The PNM field, look, they have a job fair put on by Keith Scotland, who can't get no job, eh? He can't get no job in the cabinet because he black. But he putting on a job fair down in St. James area there with party group 7. But he's a member of parliament. He does not even have the concept and the understanding that during elections you can be in your party and so on. But when you swear in so to be a minister of government, you are a minister of government for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. You must take care of everyone. And the resources of the population, the resources of the country must be equitably shared, and all must have an opportunity to partake. That's the preamble of the Constitution. But them have a job fair with no jobs, no potential, nothing but it's party group 7. A PNM job fair put on by a member of parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. That's how warped the PNM is. So Lavanti, what you want me to say? I don't want to be here telling all in 2-3 years when the hill gone and all you gone and Piccadilly bill up and all you can't come back. I don't want to all you can say, but Anil, but you tell me so, you know, you tell me so. What you want me to say? Keith Christopher Rowley. Curtis Williams, Thursday, May 5th. BG 3, page 3. BG View. Curtis Williams. It is now almost 2 years. People of Lavanti listening? And across Trinidad and Tobago. It is now almost 2 years since Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley announced that he had set up a community recovery program team aimed at good order to help reconcile differences within troubled communities. At the time, the Prime Minister said he saw it as an appendage to the National Roadmap to Recovery Plan. It's recovery we're aiming for, said Rowley. We heard you, said Rowley, and we prepared to take action. This was 2 years ago. Today isn't a good day. But let us hope, as we bury the dead, which came about from our general shortcomings, we'll resolve to make tomorrow a better day, not only for ourselves, but also for those who live in communities like these. Well, 2 years on, Rowley has certainly made the days better for himself, his family, his cabinet members, his recusal twins, his financiers, his business partners, and his interlocking directorates on all the boards across Trinidad and Tobago. He has made that better for himself, his family, inside children, the outside not so much, but he's done that. So he's achieved a goal for making it better for ourselves. Now, did he make it better for you in the at-risk communities that he promised so to do? Has he directed resources? Have there been an action plan, programs implemented to ensure that opportunities abound in the at-risk communities, to identify talent and to make sure that children and young people have an opportunity to earn an honest wage from an honest day's work? Has he done any of that? And the crowd goes, exactly. Curtis Williams says, well, the dead were buried, and the plight of East Port of Spain and other at-risk communities remains. The PNM, though, they know how to spend all your money. Plans to expand Point Lisa's industrial estate, right? Thursday, May 5th, Business Guardian, page 10 news. That sounds good, not so? Plans to expand Point Lisa's industrial estate. Cabinet has approved the lease of 530 acres to the Point Lisa's Industrial Port Development Corporation Limited, PLIBDECO, to facilitate further development of the industrial estate in Point Lisa's. This was announced by Daniel Duque, that is PNM failed candidate from Pointe-à-Pierre, Daniel Duque, during the chairman's report in PLIBDECO's annual report for 2021. Let me ask a stupid question. You know me, I always have to ask a stupid question. If after the Houston negotiation between Keith Christopher Rowley and Small Pin Young with the upstreamers in 2017, and the then collapse of the profit margins of NGC, leading to NGC making a loss for the first time in history, and the subsequent shutting down of 11 existing businesses and companies at Point Lisa's, and Point Lisa's moving from 64% capacity down to 30% capacity, where it now stands, and falling. So Point Lisa's is at 30% capacity. The last time I checked, that means there's 70% capacity that is unutilized. Here's my stupid question. So why are you expanding Point Lisa's? You don't understand? What you're expanding, you're not even utilizing what exists. You're 70% short, but you're expanding. Why? Because you know to expand, you have to spend money. And when you spend money, people get contract. And when you get contract, and your directorships are interlocking, and your lawyer and your friend and your best friend and your golf partner in charge, then contractors happen to go at the correct place, and money does run, and money does flow. But I still ask this stupid question. If you have excess capacity of 70%, where you're expanding going? But did the Business Guardian ask that stupid question? No, they just print their PNM nonsense to pretend like that makes sense. And then they come in to tax you to expand the pocket. Central Bank concerned about unemployment and increasing prices. And the central bank and the central bank governor, who was handpicked by the PNM and called him, but after they rejected, fired, and disrespected Jawala Rambaran, the man who is the central bank governor now is a neighbor of Keith Christopher Rowley at Inez Gate, where Keith Rowley undervalued his property on his Integrity in Public Life Act form and did not fill out his Form B. But DCP Jacob and the police and the DPP and them are interested in that. Because the law is not for Rowley. He could do what the hell he wants. The law is for somebody else, right? But the PNM Central Bank governor, who's Rowley partner and neighbor, says they're concerned about unemployment and increasing prices. But you all tell me the country not falling apart, but the PNM Central Bank governor, who's trying his best to pretend that things are salvageable, has to tell the truth. Trinidad and Tobago will this year participate in the world's slight rebound, the world, from the COVID-19 pandemic, as now dampened by fallout from Russian invasion of Ukraine. TT's short-term outlook is expected to improve, well, hopefully, because we were shut down, locked down, broke down, state of emergency. So if you're open back, you're supposed to improve plenty. You're supposed to improve at least 25% after you shrunk a whole 150%. But I mean, you're still 125% short. With the reopening of the economy, growth is expected. However, the report had concerns about jobs and high prices, especially in the building sector and for foodstuffs. Despite improving domestic, they're trying to put in improve as men in a negative article. They put in the word improve. Boy, all your media, all your so noted. What you feel we really dumb? Despite improving domestic economic activity, labor market conditions may remain constrained until virus caseloads are effectively contained and so on. But 41 staff at EFCL to lose jobs. Another 41 people. And more coming from TSTT. WASA bus road coming about 2,000 workers. TNTech bus road coming. Across the board in all the ministries, contract workers have been retrenched. They're not getting renewed. And that's what you all are saying. We are growing. The economy is going good. Really? And then you expect the crime position to improve. More seeds will lead to higher food production. That sounds logical, not so? Ain't I told you about Guyana last year had flood? The government run out and hand out to 764 farmers, of which 478 were women, give out seeds and so on to improve their production. And now Guyana vegetable and fruits prices went down, whereas in Trinidad prices gone up by 45%. So seeds increased production, lowered costs, made food more manageable and affordable in Guyana. But in Trinidad, we don't have a government that bright like the Guyanese government. We have PNM blight. So what's this article? This is in the Business Guardian, page 11. Geisha Kaulesa Alonso. Saving your own seeds means you can play an important role in the sustaining food and nutrition security, says Dr. Wendy Ann Isaac, a lecturer in food crop production at Faculty of Food and Agriculture, UWI St. Augustine. Her recommendations come on the heels of UWI's recent launch of its first seed bank, an initiative which Isaac said would assist in reducing this country's estimated $6 billion annual food import bill. My question to you all is, first of all, well done, UWI. And it's good to see that you all are remembering that you all should take the lead, that UWI students, graduates, undergrads, you all are the passion and the brain and the youth and the energy that normally in countries that are seeing darkness, the light comes from the intellectuals at the universities. So you all must not only protest fees. So I'm glad to see that. But let me then ask you another stupid question. If UWI doing that from their little small budget, why the Ministry of Agriculture didn't do that, couldn't do that, and couldn't copy Guyana? I ain't say come up with a brand new, creative, brilliant idea. You know? Why the PNM cannot even read and look and say, well, let me copy that. The PNM is not even able to copy. San Fernando fishermen call for nationwide strike over gas hike. Well, all fishermen, I following you, the UNC following you, all right-thinking people following you. All you call for the strike, tell we when, tell we where, tell we how, and we join in all you. High Court quashes school search warrants. Now remember back when this persecution of Paula Gopi Schoon's son, Adrian Schoon, because he went to have an open air brunch on a vessel, park up and tie up, and he says a restaurant. But it was in the midst of a political battle in the PNM between Rowley and Small Pin Stuart Young versus Andrew Gabriel and Faris Al-Rawi, which Al-Rawi has now lost as he's been demoted from AG to Minister of Latrine. Remember that? I told you all here, that was the battle. And Adrian Schoon, son of Paula Gopi Schoon, Minister of Trade and Industry, was just a pawn in the battle. And the police, after the collapse of the Police Service Commission by Prime Minister Keith Rowley, on his intervention with the two public officers, the president and the chairperson then of the Police Service Commission, Bliss C. Prasad, where Rowley misbehaved in public office to get them to withdraw a merit list. And the policeman who was selected by Rowley to be the accounting officer to head the TTPS, they were following political instructions. That was one instance, the tear gas incident at the Savannah, where DCP Jacobs was admitting that he's taking ideas and advice from the Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Ethelbert Sleepy. Imagine you need advice from Hines. What? Just think about that in itself. Any human being who requires advice from Hines could not have it all together, okay, on the IQ scale. But I told you all, and I said just because he's a PNM, the douglAR is not going to come and support the utilization of the independent police service to hound down political opponents. Well, the judge has agreed. The warrant where they run up in the man's house with 28 police, they can't find murderer, rapists, people who's killing all over the place in broad daylight. They can't find that. They're at 18% with that. But they sent 28 officers with search warrant to go in Schoon house and dig up for your phone and so on. Well, the judge pelted out. This is what happens. And now, what will follow is he could sue the state and you, the taxpayers, because of PNM nonsense, stupidity, and the political interference in the independent institution of the police, you had to go and pay more money, but they can't give you laptop, or they can't pay you grant, or they can't pay your VAT on time, or they can't pay pension, and they want to increase the age of pension. There are no money for them things that involve you. But they're wasting your money on their shenanigans, playing political games with police. The court pelt out the warrant. And rightfully so. We said that way back. And it has more bacchanal to come. Schoon go get a raise. But you know who go pay the raise? You. And they come in to tax you on your property too. Lutch-Medial raises questions over special branch. Foster comments. Let me tell you something. Boy, Foster, you know getting up in this dance. And Foster, like everything, you is a magnet for feces, boy, Foster, boy. Archie, Jayanti Lutch-Medial, the senator, was on fire down in San Fernando West. They run a little bit of Jayanti there for me, please.
Minister Foster Cummings, did you know or are you aware that you were the subject of a special branch report? Minister Cummings, did the Prime Minister ask you, and Mr. Prime Minister Keith Rowley, were you aware of this report and what did you do with it? What were they investigating? And I think it is worth our time to sit down here and talk about what they were investigating here tonight. Information, I will read. Information has come to hand that Foster Cummings, a businessman and People's National Movement senator who resides upstairs a certain place, Southern Main Road in Couva, is associated with two construction companies, Pical Services Limited, which you would have heard our honorable political leaders speak about, and Clydon Enterprises Limited, located at Southern Main Road, Couva, and Perseverance Village in Couva, respectively. It was alleged that Cummings had conducted unscrupulous business through the aforementioned companies as well as the Housing Development Corporation. Additional information revealed the following. Cummings has claimed 3 parcels of land belonging to the HDC as his own. 2 parcels are located at Southern Main Road, Couva, and the 3rd at Ibis Avenue, Couva. Cummings apparently, this is the special branch, not me. Cummings apparently used his influence to subcontract PSL through the HDC to dispose of garbage from one of the HDC developments in Couva. It was disclosed that this contract is usually granted by the regional corporation, which currently falls under the ambit of the UNC. So they take away the contract from the regional corporation because it is a UNC corporation. When you hear them fellas talk about discrimination in regional corporation, it is very real. And what the special branch is saying, not me, not the UNC, the special branch is saying that Foster Cummings used his influence in the HDC to get that contract for his company.
Yes, and while I'm talking here, Archie will put up the documents secret documents from the special branch. And let's see what McDonald Jacob had to say when reporters asked him about this. Acting Police Commissioner McDonald Jacob said the report involving Youth Development and National Service Minister Foster Cummings is currently under investigation. So DCP Jacob, they tell me don't walk with Jacob because Jacob does walk and shake up, who received his job because of PNM Prime Minister Rowley's misbehavior in public office, has confirmed that this investigation, this document is real, the investigation is ongoing. And that was since, if you check the date here on this one, since July 5th, 2019. But how it ain't finished yet? But we continue. The report, says the Express, the report seemed to originate from the police special branch. Really, Express? Y'all seen that secret Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, little mineral, and the Express get that. Get confirmation from DCP Jacobs, from Fitzgerald Hines, from the police and that special branch that this is real. But them put it in here. The report seemed to originate, no, they originate from the police, the special branch. Look it right there. Hines, the Minister Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines said he had contacted the special branch to determine whether the report was authentic. Number one, how is Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines, the Minister of National Security, contacting the special branch to get or to ask information on an investigation? You see, the PNM has gone and warped so many, turned black and white lines into gray, cutting lines between the separation of powers that they don't even know when they're doing wrong because they have made wrong right. Fitzgerald Hines is not to contact any police in the operation of the duty. He is a politician. His job is to get resources for the police and to tell the police what is the government's overall crime fighting policy to attack and to appease and to eliminate crime from Trinidad and Tobago. Fitzgerald Hines is not to communicate with any special branch, but here Fitzgerald Hines. Hines said he had contacted the special branch to determine whether the report was authentic. He said it was confirmed to be authentic. So with his incorrect call, his inappropriate call, but he confirmed through his inappropriate call to some friend in special branch that the report is authentic, and the police, not the UNC, not Kamla, not Munilal, not Tanku, not Lakrambodo, not Dinesh Rambali, not Anita Haynes, not Jolene John, not Jayanti. The police was investigating Foster Cummings since July 5th, 2019, and DCP Jacob confirmed that this investigation is ongoing. Well, all they're starting to ask, you see how all your brains is starting to work? You're asking stupid questions like me now. How he reached to be then. If he was back then a senator, how come he get elevated to a member of parliament and a minister in the cabinet while police investigating him? And all they're asking that? What they don't know said is that all of those documents are coded, and information that has come to me demonstrates that document was directed by the police special branch to a particular police officer in 2019, and they have proof that it was sent only to one particular police officer. Again, Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines is such a dull knife in the box. He does not understand that what he is saying here, he is admitting to misbehavior in public office. He is saying that police and the police who are giving him this information about an ongoing investigation, giving a politician information. Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines is so dumb, he is boasting about his inappropriate, incorrect intervention, influence, interfering in the operations of the independent police. And he's also showing and threatening police officers and whistleblowers that he is not discussing that his colleague next to him in the cabinet is the subject of a police investigation. He is instructing and telling the police that the whistleblower will be caught. And how will the whistleblower be caught? Because the Minister of National Security, a politician, got information from contacting active police involved in an investigation who shared information with the politician. Y'all don't understand that that is totally wrong, that is not on. Where the law association, where the senior counsel, our country is lost. So now that it is in the public domain, the question we will ask, how did that document, which was issued to one particular police officer in 2019, end up in the public domain scandalously and in bacchanal? That amounts to a threat by the sitting Minister of National Security to an officer, a specific officer. The Minister of National Security is threatening a police officer. The Minister of National Security has no authorization, no control, no administrative ability over operations of police officers. The police service is independent. These PNM are so warped, and you all allowing them to do that. This is wrong. But you notice, they talk about what inside here. You know? They are talking about all that. They're talking about how it come out. Because the PNM, the police is PNM. How the police not independent? How all this come out? It also continued. Asked whether he was concerned over the allegations against Cummings, Hines said, the opposition had a responsibility to give any information on wrongdoing to the police. Hines, what happened, boy? The high grade, what it is? This is a police document. Actually show all the 3 pages. This is a police secret document. The police have the information. The police are investigating the matter. The opposition only got a wind of it through a whistleblower, because it appears that the PNM controlled police have thwarted this investigation, stymied it, to not embarrass Rowley, the PNM, and the government. They've interfered in the process, interfered in the investigation, and the whistleblower obviously became frustrated at the political interference in the police service. The whistleblower is a patriot who understands that the police must be independent. But Fitzgerald Hines coming to tell you, the population, that the UNC must give information to the police. The information come from the police. Hey boy, children, say no to drugs. Okay, if they offer you too much weed and take the smoke, say no to drugs, all right? Because it really dulls your brain. And I suspect that what you are seeing there is just bacchanal, and I don't know, said Hines. So the police, since July 5th, 2019, secret investigation. Hines now decide that this is bacchanal. Who bacchanal? The police bacchanal? The special branch bacchanal? Serious allegation bacchanal? TTPS must bring closure to Cummings probe, says the PNM Guardian. Member of Parliament for Lauketa Talparo and Minister of Youth Development and National Service Foster Cummings is in the news today after the contents of what is purported, Guardian? This is purported and confirmed by DCP Jacobs, confirmed by Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines through his inappropriate calls to Special Branch to get confirmation that it is true. DCP Jacobs, the acting commissioner of police, says it is true and the investigation continues. And you, Guardian, in your editorial Saturday, May today, stating contents of which is purported to be a TNT Police Service Special Branch report on him which were made public. The obvious question is, if this probe was deemed to be critical, then why was it still languishing on a shelf before being leaked by an apparent whistleblower, prompting current acting commissioner McDonald Jacob to scramble to seek information on the matter? Well, now, Guardian, since you know that it's a whistleblower and that this investigation was clearly shelved and delayed, and now that Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines has issued a threat to the whistleblower, stating that his investigation into the operations of the police show that this report was handed or sent only to one police officer, and therefore they know who is the officer, who is the whistleblower. And under the PNM, whistleblowers get fired, they are moved out of position, they are ridiculed and harassed by the women's arm, like Karen Nunes Teixeira, like Lennox Grant at the port, and the acting CEO at the port, like Mr. Alam and Mr. Balkisoon of NGC, who were fired from the board because they tried to protect the people's money. Guardian, what is your position on the threat made by the Minister of National Security to whoever the police officer is, that he is identifying and fingering as the only person who could have leaked this report? What's your position on the threat of politicians to deal with or to bring pressure to bear on a police officer being a whistleblower or any whistleblower? What's your position on that? Remember when the whistleblower legislation was coming, you all were very excited and very confused. What's your position now that you know it's a whistleblower? Guardian, I wait to read and analyze. Furthermore, it raises questions as to whether, the Guardian, all you get bright. Guardian, what happened? Rowley on the way out, boy. All you turn on Rowley, or it's just so bad that you can't lie anymore. What's the truth, Guardian? Because listen to this carefully. This is the PNM Guardian, the Guardian of Rowley K-Pax. This must have hurt them to print. Don't get it wrong, don't get confused. Furthermore, it raises questions as to whether Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley was also made aware of the probe, since the information, if accurate and proven by way of an investigation, would have been important to decisions subsequently made on the individual. Well, we know it's true and has been confirmed by the DCP Jacobs. This is because one of the pillars Prime Minister Rowley campaigned on for the last two successful election campaigns was rooting out corruption and white-collar crime within the system. As such, Prime Minister Rowley cannot be comfortable about the claims made in the report. But Guardian, the mere fact that you are printing that Keith Rowley is a corruption buster shows how warped and biased and insane you are. That is the man of Landate fame. The police could still investigate Landate. The Integrity Commission erred by not informing him of the initial findings. But the findings were enough to go to the DPP. Rowley is the man of Renaissance, Greenvale, 1.8 billion in projects under housing, Las Alturas. Rowley is the email gate man. Rowley is the HDC contract man. Rowley is the Delcy gate. Rowley is the Inez gate. And y'all are saying that Rowley somehow presented himself as a corruption buster with your assistance because you lied to the population rather than print the truth about who Keith Christopher Rowley is and what evidence there is to show that he's the worst man for the job. So don't come now and feign ignorance and feign correctness and feign corporate governance and feign that you all want to see Trinidad and Tobago better. All you're happy. Your parent company, 89% up in profits. Very good for you all while the rest of the country suffers. But the ironic thing, Archie, is that the man who is the subject of this is the Minister of Youth. And he gone to spend $28 million to open back Chatham Youth Camp that the PNM shut. The PNM closed it down. And now to open it back, they realized they heard and they made, well, they don't realize, they realized they could spend $28 million for somebody to get contract who close to them. So they closed it down, a youth camp, to provide opportunity and direction for young people as part of the crime fighting initiatives. Close it down, and now they're going to spend $28 million to open it back. And the man who in charge of spending the $28 million and in charge of the Ministry of Youth have a special branch report from the police investigating. He is the subject of a criminal investigation by the special branch, but he in charge of youth, and we have a youth crime problem. Isn't that interesting? Wow. He says, Foster Cummins says the curriculum will present courses to prepare the young people to enter the workforce and lucrative careers in administration, entrepreneurship, information technology, healthcare, and hospitality and entertainment. No, all they need to do is follow you and go in the PNM and get special branch to investigate here and let the Prime Minister promote you. That's what they have to do. They need to do all that hard work. Tell them go Balize house and lick Rowley Bamsi like you. Guyana President, no plans to spy on citizens. I don't know, boy, Rodney Charles, boy. Everything in Guyana, all the decisions them taken, obliquely opposite to Trinidad and Tobago and the PNM. But yet Guyana increasing 80% growth, investment, foreign direct investment, opportunities, agriculture, prices going down. They're giving excise tax off, helping the people, easing the tension. But over here, pressure, 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 PNM. Yes, man. Archie, I nearly choke when I see this one. I ain't gonna lie, Archie. Archie, I had to take Ventolin. I ain't take Ventolin for my asthma in a long time. I used the Symbicort. But the Ventolin is for like instant pressure easing in the lungs. Archie, when I saw this picture and this video that you're going to show here with Keith Christopher Rowley with the toe jam slippers posed up in front of laptops, I nearly choked with laughter. I didn't know whether to laugh, to cry. It must have been because I was crying and laughing same time. My lungs tighten up. Archie, show me now. Run it.
Where we differ from the current approach is that the PNM considers the government's laptop caper to be doomed to failure, wasteful, and possibly counterproductive. The provision of laptops to entry-level students, while seniors largely have no access or very little access, is downright foolhardy. It is logistically burdensome on students and parents. It puts some students at risk. It is overly expensive, and we are not convinced that the action flows from any well-thought-out policy, but from the need to produce goodies for an election campaign when you think that the more you give, the more votes you will get. Mr. Speaker, given that a not insignificant proportion of our youngsters are challenged to score well in basic reading, a computer in some of those hands could be an unintended distraction. Mr. Speaker, on this explanation, the Minister of Education has a laptop for you. He thinks you're a dunce head first former.
I need not say another word. That picture with that clown standing up in front of all them laptops that he only give to his constituency and schools in there after taking away over the last 6.5 years 160,000 laptops from children across the entire Trinidad and Tobago. And that was done by Kamala way before anybody thought or dreamed of any pandemic, where our children could have mashed gas and used a competitive advantage to take over their counterparts globally if Kamala was Prime Minister. That abject clown, that dishonest hypocrite, now standing up in front laptop. How we get them laptop? How much for them laptop? $5,000? By how much? 100? $500,000 Where you get that? Who give you that? You declare it, you buy it with your money, you buy it with Inez Gate money. What is that? And your slippers, put some cream on your foot now, your big toe jam smelling clown. You stop and you all tell me some always say, Anil, you don't hate the man. So who to hate? This man who ensures that children are dying daily, murder, crime, black people killing black people, all across the board, businesses cannot run, children failing and have no options. Children making children without having an understanding of what it is to raise a child. This man who sets the example, teachers raping children, teachers, predators, abusing children. This man who was a teacher and impregnate a child of school age, you tell me I must respect that? Fire burn all you. As we talk about that, his minister in the office of the Prime Minister in charge of children says it's not fair to say Children's Authority didn't act. 307-page report came in, the most scathing, damning report in the history of Trinidad and Tobago about the state-run, state-funded, PNM in control, managed homes where children were abused, killed, murdered, battered in the worst way. But his minister, who's in Rowley's office right next to him, says, Ayanna Webster Royce says it would not be fair to say the Children's Authority did nothing to intervene when it was made aware of reports of abuse at children's homes. The report would have revealed that not all the checks and balances were actually being implemented, she said. But I said before it was important for me to get to the root of it. So she said, so she's getting to the root of the problem. But here the problem. She laid the report last Friday in the Parliament. But the report was dated and handed in since December 2021, 6 months ago. And this article says the report took 5.5 months to probe. So 1 year after this lady, Ayanna Webster Royce, let's pretend for the first 6 years she didn't have a clue, because them PNM don't have a clue. But she had an inkling because there were allegations and a task force was put up a year ago. She received the report 6 months ago and has taken not one single action over that 1 year period to protect the children. Soak that in. Not one change, not one action, nobody removed, no security, no CCTV cameras, no police report, no police inside, no army, no lighting up, no checking, no counselors, not one action taken. And now she get the report and leave it for 6 months and now late and coming to say she heartbroken. You now get heartbroken, but for the year, while all that, say, let's pretend you didn't know before. But for that year, you knew or you had an inkling and you did nothing. Children, criminal negligence. Archie, you're right. But this lady, this independent senator, what is she name? Senator Hazel Thompson IE. Independent senator. Now she's a self-professed lover of children. That's her passion. So I don't normally read she, because I hear she's debating in the Senate, and every time without fail, she is song better than the PNM in defending the PNM bill. No joke, she real good. She better than anything on the senators or the PNM side. Pure PNM brilliance. But I want to read this one because the report now come out and this lady loved children, she says. So I ready to read. And in all these words, this whole page thing, she blamed adults. She said parents have to improve, the teachers must do better. But not the PNM, not the government, not the Prime Minister, not the Minister Webster Roy. The PNM, nothing to do with the government at all. That's good. Everybody else must do better, but not the PNM. The PNM good. Says this independent senator. She said, I am forever grateful, because she gave us some history about her and so on. I'm like, okay. To many adults who encouraged me in my youth. Some were relatives, others teachers, villagers, especially from the PNM's Women's League. And then she opened bracket, who incidentally never urged me to join their party. Well, they didn't want you to join because they wanted to put you as an independent senator. So if you had joined, they could not do that. It would have been too overt. This woman is so... The woman said, don't tell me, independent senator, he is praising. While the PNM in charge and children being murdered, beaten, battered, raped, abused, stolen, killed. She come to say she want to thank the PNM Women's League for helping her develop. And they never asked me to join the PNM, This woman, well, they didn't want you to join because they wanted to put you in the Senate as an independent senator who loved the PNM and thanks the PNM and children getting abused, raped and killed. But it's not the PNM, never mind them, it's the government. That's amazing. It's amazing, my lady. That's amazing. How do you rationalize that and sleep? The failures of the Children's Authority, says The Guardian. An entire editorial, just like this lady. An entire editorial. No blame, no accountability, no responsibility, no consequences to the PNM, says The Guardian. The Express says, a national indictment. But then they go on to talk about a case from 1995 with Dole Chedi and thing. Because they could not find a way to write all of these words and not implicate the PNM. Why is my phone on? I don't know what is going on. Oh my goodness, Archie, I am the worst. Let me turn this down. That ever happened before? What is going on? New phone, the dog bite the old one, Yes. So the national indictment. And I want to ask Vasant and Bo, I ain't hear all this in nothing. Vasant and Bo, 307-page report, PNM, Children's Authority, children being killed, raped, beaten, security. The report has been laid since December. It has been handed to the PNM since December. They keep it secret and quiet while children are continuously abused, battered. They do nothing. Children across the board, the most scathing report in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, and I can't hear Bo, and I can't hear Vasant. So Anil and Kamala and the UNC and Anita Haynes and Jayanti and Jolene John and Marsha Riley and all the women's arm in the UNC, we are not patriotic because we are condemning this total travesty. But what y'all do? Y'all still trying to do a meeting? Kamala. Oh, Kamala. Huh? Y'all two are sick fellows, boy. Sick. Daily Express. Action long overdue. Page 12. Thursday, 5th May. As someone said, although shocking, the findings do not come as a shock. This newspaper is not as sanguine as others about the task force announced by the minister with responsibility for child affairs, Ayanna Webster Roy. So now after the report since December, now handed in, and it was take 5.5 months to do in the initial case, they now set up a task force to read the report and put recommendation. Another task force, all the time children getting raped. I just want to applaud that. That is just so brilliant. Y'all people are sick. Ayanna Webster Roy, we will wait to see what difference it makes. The fact that all the members are drawn from government ministries and entities which bear some degree of responsibility for children in the state care is reason enough for pessimism. Had these bodies been doing their jobs in relation to these children, the abuse turned up in the investigation by the Justice Jones Committee would not have occurred. You now understanding? PNM investigating PNM is wrong. You didn't understand that when Rowley went by the president and the Tea Party and Bliss Sipasat was on a CDA board and independent senators on PNM board. You didn't understand that. You now understand. Well, you're learning. Minister Webster Roy's declared heartbreak over the findings is a human reaction. But as the minister responsible for children's affairs for almost 7 years, she has to explain how and why this situation could have gone unnoticed and unattended by her and her office. We find it difficult to accept that she was completely oblivious to the multiple reports of abuse and the conditions at some of these homes. Well, exactly. All you now wake up, 7 years she's the minister, she didn't know nothing, she didn't do nothing. So what is the consequence to her? Blame the Children Authority appointed by her and the PNM? Guardian, over to you, Minister Webster Roy. Hopefully, the heartbreak, says Guardian, Ayanna Webster Roy, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for gender and child affairs, translate into strong action on behalf of thousands of youngsters who have been brutalized and traumatized in this country's dysfunctional children's homes. There must be consequences, very severe consequences for the rapists, pedophiles, and other types of criminals. They go ahead with all of that. But the Guardian say it has no consequence for her and for Rowley, and she in the office of the Prime Minister, 7 years, no consequences. Her job is to protect children. Children were killed, battered, raped, abused, beaten. But she could just stay there and go by the hairdresser. Okay, well. As we're talking about that, the Police Service Commission says, the new chairperson, Judith Jones, says, yes, by year end we'll have a commissioner of police. Very interesting. She said, the country is correct to be concerned. The country has not seen anything happening, but a lot is being done, and we must be sure that we get it right. Well, you must be sure that you get it right, Chairperson Judith Jones. Does that mean they got it wrong before? Why did they get it wrong? Why did Bliss Sipasad, Kewal Singh, McNish, Dr. Craig James, why did they get it wrong? Do you know they're not interested? Don't want to tell us? Who made them get it wrong? Why did the president get it wrong? Who appointed you? Or you can't say because she appointed you. How did the Prime Minister get it wrong by intervening and going there on August 11, 2021? Former Justice Jones says that she said one of the issues that the commission was concerned about was confidentiality, ensuring that what is said and done within the commission remains there. Yes, but why is that so critical, Justice Jones? Tell us. Is it that you are wondering how the Prime Minister, the head of the executive, found out that the merit list was taken or to be taken to the president on August 11th and that is not on? How come you all didn't comment about that before you all were appointed, before the collapse? How come you all people didn't say that? Are you saying that now? Because you want to make sure, because how the Prime Minister knew about the merit list and who topped the list and go there and shoo in Big Bear hibernating President Ayers. How she knew? How he knew to tell she? She said the POLC was poorly staffed, which makes clearing the appeal backlog difficult. Yes, the Police Service Commission will be poorly staffed because Rowley wants to control it. Rowley wants to be in charge of it. Rowley also leaves the DPP office staff 30%, judiciary staff for Funds Integrity Commission, because those independent institutions could be a bugbear to Rowley's nefarious plan and his goal to take us into this dictatorship where he could spend when he want, how he want, with whom he want. But then Judith Jones continued, whatever we do, we must get it right. In response to questions, Jones said the commission was not consulted on most amendments of the legal notice and said while she understood the need to sort out the situation as quickly as possible, she hoped that in the future the commission would be consulted if there's any intention to make changes to the experience or qualifications. Madam Justice Jones, please, your boy, I have respect for you. You find that's good enough? So we had a constitutional crisis. The executive, the crisis occurred because the Prime Minister crossed the bounds, misbehaved in public office, caused the collapse of the Police Service Commission. The merit list was quashed and null and void. An acting commissioner of police is there and the country is under siege. And you are saying that the government, the executive, without consulting you, an independent institution, went to the parliament to amend legal notices to tell you who you could select to be the commissioner of police, and you don't find that is control untoward and inappropriate of the executive over your institution, which is an independent one. Justice Jones, your boy, let me scratch my bald head. So you come to say now, oh, let's forget all of that imbroglio, and the country is suffering. You hope that in the future, the executive will consult or take instruction from you on what you want to do and how you want to do your independent job. My goodness. The police service head says they've learned from the past. Now, here the Guardian, this is amazing, you know. The Guardian says the previous Police Service Commission collapsed after 3 members resigned, one after the other, in September 2021, following a disagreement with the then Police Service Chairman, Bliss C. Prasad. This was over the handling of the issues that arose after the commission began the selection of police commissioner. Really, Guardian, that's why it collapsed? So it did not collapse because Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister, lost confidence in the independent Commissioner of Police, and he wanted to put someone there that he chose, that he had confidence in, and he found out through leaked information that the merit list was completed and Gary Griffith had topped it, and he went to the President, and the President allowed the Prime Minister to interfere and influence her to allow the Chairman then of the Police Service Commission, Bliss C. Prasad, to withdraw a list when the President knew fully well that Section 123(4) of the Constitution stated that she shall send it to Parliament. That's not why it collapsed. It collapsed because of this rubbish you're printing here, Guardian. Ladies and gentlemen, forget this mass media that's trying to control us and make us feel that these people are patriots. They are PNM sycophants, and our country is crying out. Killing rampage. First time dad slain at job. Boss shot. Pensioner among 3 gunned down overnight on Wednesday. Doma. Country in national crime, crisis and emergency. The Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, DOMA, says the country is in the midst of a national crime emergency. Whether the murder of a cable technician or of an elderly Chinese brothers on the Eastern Main Road, we have to face our grim reality. Kill a young man today and come back and kill his mother tomorrow. The driving on the shoulder, the mayhem of heavy trucks speeding on highways, the debilitating theft of copper and cable, the home invasions, abuse of children, dead bodies in a repo and Maracas. We are almost being blinded by the sheer pace of the events. We feel that it is an obligation of those in leadership positions in the public and private sectors to recognize that it is not a condemnation of any of us to raise an alarm, but rather that the stunning silence from all major sectors of the society regarding this rampant crime spree is in fact our condemnation. Doma noted that over the last 2 weeks, the city of Port of Spain had seen its own mind-boggling acts of aggression, with reports of fights and robberies. The city situation, like the national condition, is a lawlessness that is relentless and bold-faced. The law-abiding are being trampled upon and their rights contravened in broad daylight. The city of Port of Spain is suffering a social and economic decline that is also occurring on a national scale. Safety and security rank at the top of all known measurements of quality of life indices and contribute directly to consumer and investor confidence. In the current environment, it is impossible to tout any realistic faith in the future. Sando Chamber business community under attack. The Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce has condemned the recent spate of killings and said the business community was under attack. Chamber President Kiran Singh's comment, you could move him, you could move Doma, he made a lot of sense. Well said, Mr. Gregory Aboud. I hope people are listening. Kiran Singh's comment came after businessman was killed. Singh said the latest update showed 193 murders in a mere 125 days. And for such a small population, this figure was astronomical. It appears that the business community is under attack. As we continue to say, crime rates are just too high. The entire society is plagued with crime. Criminality is a serious deterrent to investment, commercial activity, and tourism. Let me just tell you all. Elections have consequences. The main job of a government is to ensure its citizens are safe. Keith Christopher Rowley said it, that if a government cannot keep the people safe and the people do not feel safe, then the government has outlived its usefulness. Well, the Keith Rowley administration outlived its usefulness since 2017-18, when the murder rate reached 539. Now it's gone to a point of you cannot even contemplate the reality of what we live in and where we are living. There is no hope. And it is sad to say that as we celebrate Mother's Day, we are in a state of hopelessness, because mothers provide hope. The mere fact that mothers allow babies, embryos to grow inside of them for 38 to 40 weeks, and then they go through inordinate amounts of pain, trauma, body changes to bring life onto planet Earth. As we celebrate Mother's Day, we are in a state of hopelessness. That is the paradox, that is the irony of living in Trinidad and Tobago. So while I say deep from my heart, Happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there, I cannot say to my mother, Happy Mother's Day. I hope she's hearing me, but I lost her. We lost her since 2008. But to all mothers out there, may God bless you and keep you. To the mother who leads the United National Congress, a woman who's broken the glass ceiling at every level, who somehow chose through her brilliance to serve her country in an area, in a sphere where negativity is rampant, where attacks and lies, dishonesty from political opponents who cannot perform, who are not as intelligent as her. She holds herself with class because, as a mother, she knows that the work that she did as Prime Minister and continues to do and will do once again brings respite, relief, and hope to children across this nation through every area and every nook and cranny. It is indisputable. The facts, the cabinet notes, the investment, the money directed to our young people by Kamla Persad-Bissessar showed that she took her motherhood into the office of the Prime Minister. She ruled with love and care. She ruled with diplomacy. The mere fact that she was able to hold a family together for 5 years and 5 months, that included adopted children, children who came out, neighbors' children, a coalition of children, she was able to keep it together. I could not do that. I could not have existed and allowed the sort of negativity, laziness, lack of work, the macaramism that existed in a partnership from the Congress of the People to the MSJ and to even members of the United National Congress in government. I would have brought down and shut down that government within 3 months. But I am not a mother. Kamla Persad-Bissessar held that together, and you all don't understand. I looked at her as an adopted child from the outside. I was not a member of the UNC. I was a member of the Congress of the People, and I saw my party being dishonest and disingenuous and attacking this mother, this lady who allowed douglAR and allowed all the members to speak, to say, to claim, to suggest, to give their ideas first before she decided. And yet now she's faced from inside by attacks from those who she mothered and gave opportunities to and gave them the opportunities to serve at the highest levels. And now she has to stand there and take abuse from these very people. Yet she takes it with class, diplomacy, and in stride. the strength of a mother that I cannot contemplate. So to Kamla Prasad Bisesa, to you, the lady, 50 years married, the mother, the grandmother, the woman who manages the United National Congress and all her positions of power with humility in the face of some of the most egregious attacks known to politics. As a strong woman, to Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the leader of the United National Congress, I say, Happy Mother's Day, and may God continue to bless you and allow all of us to unite under you so that truth will take the fore. The truth of your love and your policies that impacted hundreds of thousands of people during your 10 years, Prime Minister. Let the truth reign and hope will prevail once again. Happy Mother's Day to Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Happy Mother's Day to all the members of the United National Congress who are mothers. Happy Mother's Day to every single mother in Trinidad and Tobago. May God continue to bless you. The future of the nation is in your womb, in your hearts, and in Joseph earlier, and met many mothers on the way. Show them the people, show them the care, show them the love of the citizens, starting in St. Joseph and across all of Trinidad and Tobago. Change, hope will come, and the sun will surely rise. Good night.
And why that you on that side too? You get any incentive, reduction or anything from the government or anything like that? A full price. Not bad. So I make sure and get regularized because anything when we come in the farming, all you have to feed we. You understand? And all this import, we have to go local, right? So we're glad to see a young fella in the farming, encouraged, because Kamla is about farmers, right? So I like what you're doing. Yeah. So tell everybody we pass and stay strong. Thank you. Bless you.
Where is it?
feel like I watching TV though.
Yeah, boy. No, we are not getting
शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह नजरों से नजरें मिली तो जन्नत से महकी फिजाएं लब ने लब छू लिया तो आसमां से बरसी दुआएं ऐसे अपनी मोहब्बत ऐसे रूह इबारत हम पे महरबानो जहां शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह Thank you God for the love I have तेरी बाहों में जिस्म खिल गया तेरी सांसों में चैन मिल गया कैसे रहे अब हम जुदा ओहो तेरे पास हम इतने हुए तेरे काबू अपने हुए ऐसे रहे अब हम फिदा ऐसे उसकी इनायत मिट गई हर शिकायत हम पे महरवा दो जहां शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह तेरे साये में ली हर खुशी तेरी मर्जी मेरी जिंदगी ले चल तो चाहे जहां मेरी आंखों में नजर तेरे है मेरे शाम सहर तेरे है तू जो नहीं तो मैं कहा खिल गई मेरी किस्मत पाके तेरी ही चाहत हम पे महरवा दो जहां शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह शुक्रान लहा वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह shukran la walhamdulillah, shukran la walhamdulillah, shukran la walhamdulillah, shukran la